Welcome back to the Convo Couch, my humans. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue is still spinning on those ones and twos. Fam, that is a great shirt on. What you got over there? Show that shirt. Look
Black
at that.
Lives Matter.
You got it. I run the T-shirt program over here, so I work with our T-shirt guy, a black-owned business, Wes Gates. We love you watching it. And I got Fam and Johnny some Black Lives Matter shirts.
He did.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are rocking them. Look good on you, too, as well. Well, any shirt you wear when it's black, you wear it, you look sharp, girl. I got to give you that. Sharp-looking fee. And Johnny, you look fly, too, as well. Love your new shorts.
Johnny
Ladies
fly.
and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining on in. Listen, it's very important. Go on over to our ROKFIN, ROKFIN. Sign up, join up for free, and if you got a few extra bucks for $9.99 a month, you get all our premium content, but everybody's premium content from Jimmy Dore, Graham Elwood, Ron Pacone, the Radical Independent, or what does he call himself nowadays? The Radical Refugee, whatever his name is, Kim Iverson, Tina Desiree Berg. I believe Status Quo is on there as well. Christian, what's his name? He's the Last Vagabond. He's Christian on that. There's Black Bear News. There's Ian Schlockman. There's a whole bunch of independent media on this platform. So sign up, endorse if you can, the Convo Couch. Tell them we sent you. And also, if you want to be really special with us, you want to really get inside our heart, become one of our Patreons, right, fam?
Exactly. We need as many patrons as we can to continue doing this show.
Yes, because right now we want to jump on a plane, get our ass to Seattle, and see what's going on. And we want to continue to follow stuff. We only see 2 followers on the ROKFIN. Go over there. And if you're on the ROKFIN, say hi. On the YouTube, Tiberius Monk, 84. Big ups to the Convo Couch. He says, Tiberius, we love you. You know who Tiberius's middle name was for who?
No.
James Kirk. James Tiberius Kirk. James T. Kirk. Tiberius. All right, whatever. Copernicus was the name of the vessel that took off. All right, guys, we're waiting for people to trickle on in. We got 7 likes. We need more likes. We need more shares. What's going on? It's almost 3 o'clock and nobody's here. Share us. We think YouTube is kind of putting us in the shadows, as always. They like to take our money, fam. That's one thing. But we have some serious things to discuss, some important things to discuss, because yesterday, even COVID-19 still going on, a lot of lockdowns, a lot of people are asleep at the wheel, fam. There were still primaries going on, was there not?
Yeah, so we had some really important primaries going on in Kentucky and New York. Now, so far, the Kentucky results, Johnny, I don't know if you can pull it up.
He'll be able to get it up because he'll be able to get rid of that whole. Yeah, the New York Times wants us to join up before they let us read their articles. There it is.
So that's just Biden Bernie, but if you keep going a little bit further down,
we gotta vote for Joe Biden.
You'll be right.
I mean, he's obviously the only one that can beat Donald Trump now.
Obviously, I mean, just
It says McGrath is winning with 43.9%.
Yeah, she's winning right now, but there's still a lot of, from what I found out yesterday, there's still a lot of vote-by-mail ballots in certain counties that are favoring Booker to win. Now, if we know anything about election fraud, we're the ones that always talk about it because a lot of people don't talk about it enough. And we saw in Kentucky that they decided to close thousands of polling locations, and they did this at the last minute, of course. Now, I saw a lot of Democrats complaining about that, saying, oh, this isn't fair, we don't have democracy in this country. And it's just funny to me that they complain when it's a Republican doing it, but when it's their own party members, they don't complain at all. So that's, to me, I had to say something about that, because to me it's like, well, what the hell? What do you think happened in the last 2 primaries with Bernie Sanders? I mean, how do you guys think that a guy that has the same political ideology as a lot of these congressional people winning lost so badly to a guy who has dementia?
Yeah.
To a guy that wasn't even present during the entire race, to a guy that was literally like, that people were saying he's going to drop out soon because he has no chance.
Yeah. It was like he was the 5th place guy when Obama got on the horn and made Buttigieg drop out, the 2nd place guy who was just barely trailing Bernie Sanders, to what all the bullshit that was going on in Iowa and the way they were kind of allotting these delegates. But he was right on Bernie's ass. And for some reason, Obama got him to drop out and endorsed the guy who was in 5th place. Right. And then all shit broke loose in South Carolina. And it's kind of funny right now, fam, because where we're at right now, we have a special guest coming on Friday. It's a very deep, nuanced guest. If you don't know election integrity, it all starts with the computer hacking with this guy, Clint Curtis, out of Florida, your hometown. right in your backyard. A lot of shit went down. It didn't get a lot of attention, but here we come to fruition now, fam. Now it's not just about Republican parties, because that's the whole blame they were blaming. Oh, the Republican Party was fixing it for Bush and 2 elections.
And stuff.
Gerrymandering and all the bullshit and the suppression and stuff.
Which is true.
Yeah. Back then, but then 2016 came around, and we saw all these situations happen when it came against Bernie Sanders in New York. Florida, with Debbie Wasserman Schultz came, it really shined the light on the picture that it's one big party. Both sides are cheating. The establishment, they work in cahoots together, guys. It's WWE wrestling. They act like they hate each other, but behind closed doors, they're best fucking friends. And they are, sorry, Mom, for cursing. They are best friends, and they are working hard to fix the elections to benefit each other. They work together. So right now, we're going to have Clint Curtis on the show. We're going to talk about open source. We're going to talk about hand counting, because there's a lot of things, fam. It might seem logical to just talk about hand counting, but there's other ways to cheat that. There's other systems to go and play. So this discussion we're trying to open up, and really what we're about to talk about right now, fam, when you get down to the nitty-gritty we talk about voter suppression. It's an all-out attack from all angles and all different things, from the software to holding the lines, to holding down polling places, to really, to beefing up the mail-ins. There's so many areas. But what Booker did yesterday, I was very, very happy about. But let you go on with your story, because when it comes to election integrity, we can go crazy with this whole situation. So,
well, yeah, no, just Booker is an actual progressive, and McGrath spent millions of dollars on her race. Establishment Democrats all fell in line to support her. She is not somebody that I would necessarily vote for, but I have to say Mitch McConnell is one of the key people that, just like Pelosi and Schumer, has to be removed. I mean, they are the old guard. They are gatekeepers standing in front of anything progressive passing. And so I think Mitch McConnell has got to go. I don't think Amy McGrath is going to help necessarily, but I mean, he is far worse than Trump. I mean, people like to talk about Trump and how bad he is, and he is, but Mitch McConnell.
Yeah. Well, we've said it before. The two most dangerous people right now are, on the left, it's Pelosi and Schumer. On the right, it's McConnell. He's the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You talk about a war hawk right there. You know what I'm saying? So he'll work with establishment Democrats when it comes to furthering the imperialism politics and the policy. So, I mean, yes, Amy McGrath is another one, though. Aren't these Democrats the ones who are really stopping real progressive change? Until they give over power or we take it from them, nothing's going to change. We won't be able to go after these Republicans like McConnell, but we got to get rid of these people right here, fam.
Exactly. And by the way, Amy McGrath also lost her home county to Booker, 44-39. Yeah. So it's really funny that she managed to lose that badly.
Right. The next one.
Okay. And then Charles Booker said yesterday, we are on the verge of something big. We are making history.
Her story.
We are making history, her story, their story, our story in real time. The results are coming in and we are fired up. It may take a couple of days for the final vote, but we are ready to bring this home. Stay tuned. I am so damn proud of us. The fact that he even got this close to me is really telling, in a state like Kentucky, which is very conservative as well.
This guy, I like him a lot. And I put in one of his speeches he had a little bit longer. When I always talk about the Democratic problems, the Democratic Party's problems, we talk about their marketing problems, the way they kind of frame things, their cliches, the way they talk about things. We're going to get into this pretty deeply. But I love the Fred Hampton and Mr. Charles Booker. And there's a little speech we got right over here, fam. Just look at the way he talks. It's all inclusive. It's a rainbow coalition. And this is how you take down the establishment. You need people there. And that we have to really focus on what's coming in on the next couple of days. Because I hope Charles Booker really starts to peel back the banana of this election. If they try to cheat him, let's get in there. Let's get an autopsy. Let's bring public attention to it. Well, let's get an autopsy.
He did file an injunction.
Yes.
To keep the polls open because they were closing the polls on people, and we're going to see that. That is so much more than what Bernie did.
Yes.
Bernie had the capacity to do that. He didn't do that.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that I like. What I'm seeing with Booker is that he is willing to do that. To fight for every single vote. And also highlight election fraud, highlight the suppression, because right now what we saw in Kentucky was mainly suppression. I didn't see anything yet on the election fraud, but what I was seeing was polls being slashed in numbers, being shut before people could vote, people still in line wanting to vote. that is voter suppression. That should off the bat already not even be it should be a non-issue.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
and that's like it's like an octopus attacking you.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be in the form of fixing the machines in the back, you know, because they have proprietary software. And who picks these vendors? Like, who's close with these vendors? The Secretary of State. The establishment is close with the vendors. That's where you know the motive to cheat is coming from, and the actual people who are cheating, not Russia. But also, it's the mail-in situation, which if it comes down to the mail-in, I hope we peel back the banana on that one. But the suppression is big, too, as well, because, you know, there's been this argument. I've been really holding on to this article because I don't know if it's 1,000% accurate, but I've always believed that the late voting is way more progressive.
No, yeah.
It's more of an event. You know, Jamal Thomas talked about it. Like, and they're trying to suppress that late vote by closing these polling places because they don't want young people going out and voting for somebody who's more progressive, who's going to help them, like a Charles Booker. And also, let's play this little video, fam. Watch this. A little Fred Hampton here. I like this guy.
We have so much in common. We are fighting so many of the same battles that if we stand together, all of us, all Kentuckians, no matter where you're from, no matter what you look like, no matter what pronoun you use, no matter whether you're walking or in a wheelchair, how much money you have in your pocket, whether your skin looks like mine or not, you matter. From the hood to the holler, we matter. This is about Kentucky. This is about us taking our future back. We can have good jobs. We can raise wages. We can support education. We can support public education. And if there's a teacher here, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your service. And I know as the rain comes down, Mitch wants to stop the show. Ain't nothing he can do to stop it. We have so much in
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's the message you want to have. That's the message you want to have. It's wherever you're from, whether you look me like me or not, we got a lot in common. Let's go get him. I like Booker. I like him a lot. I like him a lot.
I really, you know, it's neck and neck right now. Nobody has called it yet. Like we said, they're still receiving ballots, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Everything he
with
stands
that.
for, the way he's fighting for the integrity of the election to make sure everybody's vote counts, that's a great sign. You hear these speeches, and that's why this guy got a lot closer than anybody did to McGrath and taking down a prominent, you know, Democrat like her.
And and let's watch a little bit from the MSNBC talking about the voting
your
thus
guy.
far.
This guy who's committed, he's lied before. Brian Williams, I believe his name is, and he's got this great voice. We are defined by the beauty of our weapons. Go ahead.
States holding primary elections today and tonight. Tracking the results for us this evening, our national political correspondent, Steve Kornacki at the big board. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Brian. So it's primary night. It's primary week in Kentucky in some of these places. Let me take you through what we know right now. This is the Democratic Senate race in Kentucky. The winner of this gets Mitch McConnell in the fall. What you see right now, a little less than 50,000 votes counted. Amy McGrath, we saw just a little bit more come in right there. Amy McGrath, a little bit ahead of Charles Booker. Now, what's happening here is a little complicated. The votes that you see counted right now, those are votes that were cast today, people who went out and cast ballots today. Some counties, the counties that you see colored in here, some counties have released those numbers. Other counties haven't. Those are the counties that are gray right here. So we have some of the vote that was cast today in Kentucky. And then there's another pile of votes, the mail-in votes. There are a lot of mail-in votes in Kentucky. They haven't gotten to those. They haven't touched those. We may not get those results for another week. So basically, the key here for Booker is he wants to keep it close in the results you have right here. So far, he is Louisville, Lexington, these are the two population centers. Together, about more than a third of the vote is going to come out of these two places. If Booker can keep it close everywhere else and roll up big numbers in these places, that's his formula. Again, we'll see. This is going to play out, not hours. This is going to play out over days. The other story that's developing here, Brian.
Okay.
Normally, he would be like, his goose would be cooked. But with COVID, a lot of people switched to the mail-in. So now you got a shot with the mail-in, but the fact that they're holding on to the mail-in, fam,
that's right away was like a worry to me.
It. I knew you
know,
would.
we don't know what they're gonna do with those votes. We have seen them keep mail-in votes, or we have found mail-in votes in Wisconsin in a tub completely uncounted. So I am not trusting of the system right now. So I hope that he continues to monitor and fight for every single vote, and it looks like he will. I think he will. And I think the progressive movement is really, really behind him right now. So we'll all be watching
Well,
closely.
the validity of these mail-in twos are always a question and stuff. So,
Right.
I mean, usually
they can throw them out,
it's
too,
an
if
old
it's
school
not
Democratic
signed.
trick. You know what I'm saying? You get some
Yeah.
fugazi people on these things. This is where the Democrats were always kind of like, You know what the Republicans do? They demonize the person himself and say, you're not eligible to vote. You're a convict.
Right.
You can't vote. You're an immigrant. You can't vote. You know what I'm saying? It's very racist in its core, you know, when they do that shit, because they know it's more left-leaning Democrat. With the Democrats, it's more of a political ideology. They go after you. It's
Right.
like, okay, you're a progressive. We're going to find a way to throw away your vote. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that in turn is just as dangerous sometimes. It doesn't seem as awful, but it's the way the establishment keeps control.
Right.
And when the establishment keeps
It's
control,
more nefarious because it's hiding
Yeah.
behind a mask.
it is.
So.
It's very sinister in a way. So, let's see. So far, I like the way the guy's fighting. We'll see what happens. You have the updates. What's the injunction about? fam?
Yeah, well, he just showed it. He was fighting for and he filed an injunction to
We
keep
did
the
show
polls
that.
open
All right.
because
Yeah. Okay.
they were trying to close them.
Poll issues.
Did you have something to say, Johnny? Okay. So, this is from Nicole Alexander Fisher. Half of Kentucky's black population was located in Louisville. Only one voting booth was open in Louisville, and it had shut and locked its doors on its voters before it was demanded to open up again. Outrageous and unacceptable. Again, people took to the internet. Booker was paying attention, and they managed to get those people to vote. But one poll booth in all of Louisville? Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous. That's
That
ridiculous.
is insanity.
That's when they want to control the numbers. You know, I know Jen Perlman's probably paying attention, and her campaign manager, to what's going on over here, because this is a fight that's right there, that one. This is a fight that's going to continue to go on. Wow, fam.
Okay, so this is a little video of the people right outside demanding to vote. Obviously, you can see a lot of all kinds of people, but a lot of also people of color. The doors of the Kentucky Expo Center closed at 6 p.m. People were stuck in traffic for over an hour driving to the center. Charles Booker filed an injunction to keep the polls open until 9 p.m., and a judge just granted the request. So the doors are now open, and he was like telling people,
Yeah, I mean, suppression on the front end. We saw it in California. Where were these areas where they had little machines and they were broken and had little workers at? The Latino areas in downtown in East LA. But you go to the ritzy areas and they're serving
There's
you
like nobody
tea with
there.
stevia, and they got 30 machines and 19 workers, and you know what I'm saying? They can bring you a pillow to, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want. It's such bullshit. It's fucking racist at its core. Sorry, Mom. It's racist at its core. They were suppressing the Latino vote here in California. It was disgusting. And they're doing the same thing over there. That's the tricks. The late votes are going to be more progressive. So what do? You suppress. Exactly.
And also, by the way, the reason there's traffic and the reason they didn't get there on time is because there's one center in Louisville. So obviously there's going to be traffic because everybody's trying to get to one place.
And if you think about it, fam, like these older votes have been around. McGrath's been around for a long time. So she has this built-in kind of like following, you know what I'm saying, that people are going to mail in know a long time. People just started learning about Booker, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with the suppression from the mainstream media, this is why shows like this are so important, because we put people on like Mr. Booker before they're even known. Saying we went and saw AOC and got pictures with her before they were known. You know, we're doing it now, Shahid, all these other people, but that's why it's so important, because the mainstream media doesn't even let you know that McGrath has a challenger.
Yeah.
It's keep quiet, don't say anything, so his name doesn't get out. So his name starts getting out, and very late, people are like, all right, election day, I got to go vote for this guy. He's awesome, and now they close the polls on you.
Yeah. And again, another person posted about the voters being locked out, and again, like
Real
he
quick, I wanna
filed
play
an
the-
injunction.
I want to play the audio on
Sure,
this so
sure.
everyone
Oh,
can hear
my
it,
bad.
because this is insane.
They're pounding, right?
This is important, by the way. I think it's honestly, one of the most important things that happened yesterday is him filing this injunction. It raises awareness of what's going on in our voting system, in our elections, and now it gives us the opportunity to say, yes, maybe Republicans are doing it this time, but trust me, I wouldn't be surprised if Democrats like McGrath are also involved, because either way, they'll be fine if she gets in there.
Yeah.
She probably won't beat Mitch McConnell if she gets in there.
Yeah.
She won't. I mean, the motivation is to have actual change, and somebody like Charles Booker is going to provide that change. Amy McGrath, the Democrats have really no chance, and I don't think they see that. But
No.
it's important to raise awareness about what's going on in our elections, and a popular candidate like that is going to put spotlight on this issue.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna, it's going to affect more of that from here on out.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. Like, I talked to my friend who's a Trump supporter. He's living in Maine now today, and we talked about this. He goes, see, that's the thing. He's like, Democrats cheat their own base. They cheat their own people. They didn't cheat Donald Trump. They let us elect him. They'd used every single trick, but we were able to vote him in. But your Democrats, they're going to cheat. And they cheated Bernie, and even though I don't like them, they're going to cheat for McGrath, and they're not going to let him win. And how do you argue that right now when this is a Democratic primary, right?
Yeah.
And here it is, they're locking people out. How do you stand as a Democrat and say that, you know what I'm saying, that you're just as you're straight and narrow, you're honest when you're being just as dishonest?
Hypocrite.
You're a hypocrite. I mean, this is terrible.
And somebody else also mentioned it about the injunction, and let me see what else right here. I think. Okay, so they were just.
What happened in Kentucky?
It was just a little recap. I can't access it, but
we can't get into it, Johnny. It's the Kentucky primary election one. Yeah, that one.
They were just going over everything that happened. We basically all talked about it. The way the votes were suppressed, the way that the polls were cut down, pretty much everything we've mentioned before. So
we saw the suppression on the front end here in you got that one right?
Yeah, we're good.
We saw the suppression here in California. It's an establishment Democratic trick.
Mm-hmm.
They use it all over the place. Let's keep the late voting out. Let's cause confusion.
Yep.
Therefore we can just blame it on faulty machinery, whatever it can be. It's all done by design. I think Raji Robb said it on the show. Yeah, you had him on, John. It was designed. It did what it was designed to do. The Los Angeles election did what it was designed to do.
And you know what it says here in this article? It says that due to a bipartisan agreement between Republican Secretary of State Michael Adams and Democratic Governor Andy Beshear, all registered voters have had the option to request and vote by absentee ballot. According to Beshear on Monday, more than 883,000 ballots were requested and only 452,000 were sent in by Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
the same thing they did here. They missed 17,000 ballots. Remember, people didn't get the right ballot. They requested their ballot and they never got it. It's these same tricks. That goes from voter suppression. It's also voter suppression to actual election fraud because it is intent. Yeah. The intent is there to keep people from voting. And trust me that it's not just the Republicans in Kentucky who want to keep Booker out. It's the Democratic establishment as well.
Fam, people will get mad at you if you don't say election rigging, because the election fraud is what the Republicans would always say in the day.
That's voter fraud.
Voter fraud.
There's two.
So
it's not the same thing. Yeah, so, voter fraud is when the voter does it. Election fraud is when
election rigging, election fraud, same thing.
Yeah,
I believe.
Same difference.
I don't know. Splitting hairs.
And so the New York primary was the other race, the different primaries going on. The other race to
AOC,
watch.
Sweat it.
New York primary election results. Okay, so Johnny, let's go over some of the results that you're seeing there right now.
AOC.
So it looks like AOC's got 27,000 votes, 72% of the votes there. So I'm pretty sure she's completely won that one.
Yeah,
she did.
Small district, by the way.
It's a small district. The voter turnout was actually not that great. Obviously, there's COVID, so that also will take somewhat of a hit. But it was a very, very low voter turnout. Now, AOC, we have a roller coaster relationship with AOC, right? We've criticized her stances on foreign policy, which aren't that great.
Terrible.
We've also
her endorsements.
Her need to go on Twitter and attack Republicans and grandstanding instead of actually standing by actual policy like the CARES Act, Mama Bear Pelosi, all of these things, right? But right now, AOC isn't the enemy. I wouldn't consider her an enemy. I wouldn't put all my efforts to get her replaced. Her opponent that was trying to replace her was an mainstream media correspondent, and she was a neoliberal to the core, and she absolutely got obliterated.
Michelle Caruso?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By AOC. Now, obviously, with Democrats like that, AOC seems, far beyond. The thing we have to do as people is stop the hero worship and make sure that the people are always holding people like her accountable. Even if they seem progressive by comparison, we need to hold them accountable. Yeah. We need to be there watching them, monitoring them. Now, what I hope AOC does, now that she has cemented more of her base, that she actually goes after the Democratic establishment, that she goes after Pelosi, that she shows the same opposition to the establishment Democrats that she shows to Republicans on Twitter. That's what I would like. That's what I would like to see. I'm not holding my breath, but that's what I would like to see.
I don't want to lose heart. I don't know. I'm just like, the Nadler thing was one thing, but maybe she is being a wolf in sheep's clothing for the right reasons against the establishment. Maybe, listen, there's still time for these people to turn and to the squad included, but I want them to start talking to the media that we know. She hasn't gone back on Jimmy Dore or any of the real progressive media. She's kind of hid in the bushes and kind of pushed us away. So I would like to see her go back into that. I'd like to see her get better on foreign policy. You know who I'd like to see her sit down with first? Max Blumenthal. That's the first one. The guy who confronted you in Congress and you say will defer to the caucus leadership. Well, as we get into the reasons why, what she said, and we were so disappointed. I mean, I think Rodolfo Barragan even said the most disappointing thing was the fact that she supported Pelosi and rather standing alone. I'd like to see some of that come to fruition. Go talk to Blumenthal. Take an interest in the foreign policy. That's what we really need you to do too as well. Our civil liberties, all these things that we have kind of gotten a little bit more establishment-like. Well, pivot the other way. That's what we'd like to see. Is there time?
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
Endorse Shahid Buttar.
That's the
that
thing.
Would be a huge thing.
A lot of
she
these
won't
people
do it.
did not endorse Shahid Buttar. Why? Because Shahid Buttar is running against the most
Nancy
powerful
Pelosi.
Democrat in this country right now. Nancy Pelosi is it. And so you haven't seen any of these people endorse him, which is a mistake. That just shows you that they're still willing to play the game to make sure that they're still okay with Nancy Pelosi. And I am wary of somebody who got Nancy Pelosi's endorsement.
Yeah.
Even though she appears progressive on paper, whatever, she got Nancy Pelosi's endorsement for a reason.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? So
Nancy Pelosi did endorse, I believe, McGrath.
Exactly.
I believe, you know what I'm saying?
No, she did. So,
and AOC was she did Booker, right? So she
AOC
also
endorsed Booker?
I think so, but I know she definitely
she endorsed Jamal Brown.
I know that for sure.
Bowman,
I think she might have endorsed Booker too. I got to take a look, but she did endorse Bowman. Let's talk about Mr. Bowman. So
so Jamal Bowman. This was a this to me was one of the other, the biggest race in New York, bigger than AOC's, because we are talking about removing a warmonger in Engel. I mean, this guy, Elliot Engel, was endorsed both by Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer, among, of course, the neoliberal establishment elite.
Yes.
And he is just terrible. His record is absolutely disastrous.
He's a Syrian, anti-Assad, one of the most the biggest pusher when it comes to the whole Syrian conflict was just green lighting that thing left and right. So.
And this is New York's District 16. It's nearby AOC's district, if I'm not mistaken.
Goes into Westchester a little bit.
Yeah, Westchester.
Mostly Yankee territory once again, so I don't pay as much attention to it as
I'm a Yankees fan,
Fam, do not do that to me right now. Mets, baby.
No, Yankees all the way, fam. Okay, see my New York mug. Okay, so I wanted to read this part of this really good article on who Engel was, okay? Because this is the most important thing about this race. Engel's campaign had secured the most important establishment endorsements from Hillary Clinton to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. But it wasn't enough to hold off Bowman, who ran on an anti-poverty, anti-racist platform and had endorsed policies which were central to Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign, from Medicare for All to a Green New Deal. Engel, on the other hand, was most known for being one of the most hawkish Democrats. He voted for the Iraq War against the Iran nuclear deal and attempted to stall growing movement in Congress to end United States support for the war in Yemen. That is the most disgusting thing. Engel also received donations from corporate PACs of weapons manufacturers like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon and Boeing.
Wow.
So there you go.
We're losing a good good person in Congress right now. He gets money from the right people and stuff like that. And like I said, not on that list. Syrian conflict. Just look him up. I think Aaron Matei made the tweet about him, and when it came to Syria, he just would not want to listen to what's going on. And by the way, we're still sanctioning Syria. We're still sanctioning North Korea. We're still sanctioning Venezuela. We're still sanctioning these countries. So we're still, even in COVID, an act of war, and still putting our foot on the neck. You know what I'm saying? And people like Elliot Engel made it possible for these policies to continue on because they were on the left, supposedly the left. I don't even know about the left, right, center anymore, fam. I'm so confused because our imperialist democratic establishment.
Fam, I think there's two sides. There's evil and good. I think I am just going to simplify it for you too. Like there's that battle going on too. But yeah, I mean, this is a huge defeat.
It is.
Even if Bowman isn't perfect on every single thing, this is awesome. I mean, to get this man Engel out of power, and I want to see Hillary Clinton's tears, and I want her to continue endorsing more candidates, so that way we know that they're trash. Because I think a lot of people saw that, Hillary Clinton endorsed. Okay, no, we got to pick this guy because any person that's endorsed by Hillary Clinton must be trash. And so that's it. I just think it's awesome.
And you think about how powerful Hillary Clinton is in New York. When I talked to my boy Prince AG in New Hampshire, when he was down there, he was like, dude, Hillary Clinton's got a stronghold. There's a lot of neoliberals in New York and stuff like that. So the fact that she endorsed him and he, Engel, and he lost.
It just shows
shows you the tide's turning.
Yeah,
really,
the tide's turning.
But I'm still kind of like,
New York figured out at the very least, what we can't do here is how to get rid of the old guard. They have years and years and years of of activism there. And also a lot of the people there, the pockets are a lot of minorities, and it's just completely conflicting with the old guard that that just could not grab a hold of that power. They thought they had it secure. They thought they didn't have to work anymore, and they were able to really go after them in a way that we haven't done here in LA yet.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Aren't you a little suspicious of it? Like, because AOC was not the person I thought she would be. Once again, I don't think she's the enemy, like you said, but she's very much in this gray area where it's like, you endorsed the wrong people, you stood by the wrong people. We put you there to fight these people. You're joining them. However, you've had moves here and there where it's like, okay, that's pretty good, that's pretty decent and stuff like that. But I'm very suspicious of them allowing Crowley to die because I still believe that they have all these, when it comes to our elections, I believe they have a strong hold on them.
Absolutely.
So why would they allow Crowley to be defeated? Was it that much of a tsunami? The tsunami we thought would happen with Bernie Sanders? Is Jamal Bowman one of those guys where they say, oh, well, you know what? Let's let him go because he'll play ball. Now, I love his anti-poverty message, but all these candidates, including Mr. Booker, who I love, Charles Booker over there, really don't talk about imperialism that much. They don't talk about foreign policy. They don't talk about civil liberties.
That's what gets you killed.
Yes, but he's talking about elections, Booker, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
So I'm very suspicious when they allow some progressives, they say, go through, because if the progressives are for a Green New Deal and Medicare for all, maybe that's okay, but it's the ones who talk about the foreign policy and the civil liberties and the way our media is being controlled. Those are the ones that I really, really like. So there's more for me to look at when it comes to a Jamal Bowman because I'm suspicious of them allowing him to win.
Absolutely.
We should call them true rebels instead of progressives.
Yep.
True rebels.
Yeah, true rebels. And we got a network for that.
The 3 pillars of true rebel.
Yeah.
Foreign policy, domestic policy, and
a lot of the corporatists too also liked Jamal, people like Warren and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I don't really like right now, since he's so new, like he has the ability to do anything. He still has to win the general, but I'm pretty sure that's a sure win in New York.
Hard,
I mean,
not to lose it. I mean, if they let a Republican come in, there'd have to be some type of populist center.
What is it? Redistricting,
gerrymandering, and all that stuff. But it's funny that in the that Kevin Spacey movie, the show when he played the president and stuff like that.
House of Cards.
House of Cards. There was one scene where he was in a room and he was running against. He goes. You're a Republican in New York. He goes, which pretty much makes you a Democrat. And he goes, well, you're a Democrat in South Carolina. He goes, which pretty much makes you a Republican. Right. So, you got to think about that when you think about those things. But,
it's true.
So something to keep in mind.
Exactly. And so Qasim Rashid was another one that won. This, I don't really know too much about this person, but they did beat the establishment. Ilhan Omar gave a shout out to AOC, Jamal, Richie Torres, Mondaire Jones, and Christine Rashid and Cameron Webb. These are all the people she gave a shout out to. And he quoted John Lewis here, which is interesting. You must find a way to get in the way and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. You have a moral obligation, a mission, and a mandate when you leave here to go out and seek justice for all. You can do it. You must do it. And Kashim Rashid was running for District 1 in Virginia. So
Yeah. Followed by Lauren Ashcroft. So, Ashcraft. What happened with her in her race?
She did not win. She did not win so far. Yeah.
How was it? Do we get a number on that? I couldn't open up that New York Times thing. It wouldn't let me block it, but... Anyways, we should look into that later on. She was on the show. We should see how she did. We should probably reach back out with her and say hi. I liked her. She was a pretty good...
she was awesome.
Pretty good candidate.
We still have a few progressives running, including, I think, New Jersey, Washington.
Cicerone. Oh, boy.
And what else? We have a couple...
We have California. We have a couple people that we have to keep an eye
Florida,
on, too, as well.
obviously.
Florida is another one. Listen... Now that the COVID is, I don't want to say it's winding down and stuff like that, but we get a little bit more freedom. We see a lot of candidates reaching out to us and people reaching out to us to talk to candidates. I think we'll get a little shock of back to the electoral season that was kind of put on pause. I mean, we were approaching this. New York and Kentucky had a primary yesterday, and everybody was kind of asleep at the wheel because we've been so COVIDed and like, well, how's the voting process going to go? But it looks like it's waking up again, fam, for the home stretch, and maybe we'll get some more candidates on, and we'll give a little shock to the electoral season and get it back up.
I just pulled up Lauren Ashcraft. It looks like 13%.
Far back in the pack. So Raj Patel.
This is the other 2018 rematch pitting Representative Carolyn Maloney, 74, against challenger Suraj Patel, who won more than 40% of the vote last time.
Look at this.
So she...
See, why is she running in that race?
She cut into the neoliberal... I read that she did cut into the neoliberals.
She took some of the neoliberal vote?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Really? She didn't take away votes for... I don't want to say take away votes. It's her right to run. My bad. Not having that language and stuff.
Manhattan, Queens, and Brooklyn.
I mean, yeah.
There's not a progressive, though, that won. That was close to winning, though.
Who's Suraj Patel? We got to look into Suraj, see who that is.
I don't think that's a progressive from what I read, but...
Suraj Patel, 2020. Oh, no, he's with Obama. Get it off. Get it off. Get it off. Turn it. Fuck it. Turn it off. Get it off. Hurry up. Come on. Fam, you were so right. Why don't I just listen to you?
I don't know. The world would be a better place, fam.
Oh, have I missed any? I know, but I wanted to make sure if I say any super chats real quick.
Suraj is a progressive Obama Democrat running to get corporate PAC money and out of politics and to restore the promise of New York.
The promise. When they start using jargon like restore the promise of New York, that's when you know there's a big buzz.
God, that made me nauseous.
What does that mean?
Quick.
Restore the promise of New York.
Oh
like, give people rent relief. Give people health care.
So
we don't care about your dumbass promise.
It's just a neoliberal battle.
Yeah, it's a neoliberal battle. Yeah.
Tiberius Monk, thank you for the super chat contribution. It is always appreciated on the couch. Pasta, that's the exact reason I have my YouTube name, my love of Star Trek, and that's Tiberius Monk, James Tiberius Kirk. Here is more bucks for noticing that. Long live and prosper.
Wait, is it this way or this way?
The Vulcan thing, Vulcan.
No,
Long live and prosper, Fee and Pasta. Can you please include Jonny Tsunami? He's part of the prospering of it. And sorry, Jesus,
I
Jesus.
can only do one hand.
Jesus gave us a donation. Love the shirt, Fee. That's awesome.
Yay.
Oh, man, fam, I didn't include it in the folder, and we should talk about this, the whole debate between Jesus being white and black.
Okay, we are not discussing that unless you want to get,
No.
destroyed.
I don't want to get destroyed on it. I'm just a little bit upset that people don't understand that we're bombing, rather than having that argument today.
Right, I get
we're
it.
bombing that region today.
I get it.
Like, is that where the argument has to be?
I get it, but you can acknowledge the problem, is what I'm saying. So it's a problem. So another thing, I just want to say thank you, Lauren Ashcraft, for running. It takes courage to run. There's a lot of neoliberals that were running.
Neoliberal land.
Yeah, it's difficult.
But which
I hope
liberal?
I hope she doesn't stop running. I mean, I think it's important that she continues to do it because I read that she definitely did take votes away from the incumbent. So I think that's important. I think it's important.
She almost let the other neoliberal in.
She was great. I mean, our interview, I remember she was keen on foreign policy. She was aware. She was aware.
She was aware. She was definitely aware. She was okay. You know, her message was pretty good. I mean, we didn't really touch into a lot of civil liberties. She was, you know, I mean, that area is going to take such a kind of weird, fugazi, populist, center-right candidate. You know what I'm saying? It's Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? It's got a big chunk of that area over there. There's so much money involved.
Yeah.
It's going to take a very peculiar person.
I don't think it's going to take a center-right candidate.
You know, it's
I don't think it's going to take a center-right candidate. I mean, I just think it's going to be more difficult to win.
Yeah. It's Wall Street
I think I think we're just going to have to see more of New York get taken over. I think it's we're going in the right direction. Mondaire Jones is another one. He's a Warren Democrat, but he beat a neoliberal, which is good.
Right there. I'm so sorry.
And let me see here. So Pramila Jayapal thanked him and said, "Congratulations to my friend Mondaire Jones, who was also endorsed by Warren, on this big win last night. This is a victory for New York, a victory for America, a victory for our progressive movement. Looking forward to fighting alongside you in Congress." And Mondaire Jones is another black man. And New York's 17th district. So again, these districts that are close to each other, you're seeing a little bit of the tide shift because you're seeing people actually be motivated to vote for somebody else. Exactly. He was a former Obama DOJ, which is why I said in my latest tweet, I don't consider everybody who won necessarily progressive, but I do see that more and more people are starting to pay attention. And my whole point is, just because New York had a decent wins and because what we're seeing in Kentucky doesn't mean you guys leave it there and think that everything's going to change because these people got in and they're better than Pelosi and Schumer. What it means is you need to continue fighting in the streets because this is slow. We don't have power in the electorate right now. We have more power in the streets. So don't forget for a second to continue fighting in the streets because that's where our power is.
Take it local, baby.
And better than the neoliberal? Yes. Is he totally progressive? No, not based on what I've read.
That's the argument. Are we taking one step forward and two steps back? Because it's like when we're replacing, when people get comfortable, oh, we got that personality. Yeah, but you got a semi-neoliberal Democrat in there. And Pramila has just always been endorsing the worst people at all times, from endorsing Biden to Adam Smith against Sarah Smith.
I mean, she did endorse Bernie first, but
still, once again, you can't excuse these other endorsements. That Sarah Smith one to me was the biggest kick in the you-know-what. She went and endorsed Adam Smith, who was a warmonger, who had money from the defense
it's the foreign policy.
Right. When you have a progressive on the ground in Sarah Smith and you don't stand behind her,
they also
really
take into account they take into account the likelihood, the probability of the win. They don't want people I'm just telling you how they think. They don't want to accumulate endorsements for a lot of losses. So they're very careful on who they endorse. And also military industrial complex, fam. That's something that very, very few people are in opposition to right now in Congress, which is why this isn't a revolution. I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, this is not a revolution." You can't have a revolution within the Democratic Party. That doesn't happen. Yeah. What you're having is a little bit of reform. You're seeing a little bit of the slow process of shifting from the old guard. But the revolution is in the streets. That's going to happen with the people. That's not going to come from any politician in Congress or the president at all. It's going to come from people taking to the streets. What we're seeing now, that's the real revolution. So again, don't for a second back off. Monitor these people as they continue and as they enter, and don't make the same mistakes you did with Obama, with Elizabeth Warren. Don't continue to give these people a pass. Our job is to hold them accountable. Our job isn't to be their cheerleaders or their sycophants. So let's remember that.
I hear you. And speaking of foreign policy, I think it's time we get to it, fam. You have anything else to do about the election? That's the election wrap-up. That's a great one. We'll have that whole video chopped up and clipped up.
I will give a shout-out. I forgot to put it into a friend of mine who I had lunch with a long time ago when we went to CAOC. His name is Jabari Brisport. He won state senate for his primary in New York. Vegan, very, very progressive. Congratulations to him. Teacher, really, really great that he won the primary. So we'll see what happens.
And special shout out to Pastor Jardula for being voted the best looking person on the Convo Couch. Thank you very much for all those who voted. Just kidding. Having a good time. Listen, 6 people over on the ROKFIN. We need some more of you to join over there. I want to correct my words from the other day. I said UEA. I wanted to say UAE, United Arab Emirates. Sorry for saying that wrong. Apologizing for that. And we also have 170 people watching on the YouTube. Remember, if you can go over and become a Patreon, you got a few extra bucks. Anything will count. $2, $5, $20, $27, whatever you got to give to help out. It really does help us out. We're getting ready to get back out there, ladies and gentlemen. We are like a dog ready to run and just go out there and get there because we want to get back out there. We have a website.
So we haven't shared this yet, but we have a website, and we will, Johnny can put it on the screen, but we're going to be talking about it, promoting stuff. You guys can find a few cool things on it. And it's the Convo Couch.
Yeah.
And we are indie media, and it's awesome.
We're looking at Broke Girl Media. She says pasta versus fee. She's got the fist up. She's got the fire. We need to play more games, fam. We need to have more little competition here. You know what I'm saying? The people want to see it.
I'm gonna play Jeopardy, and I'm gonna.
Oh man, you're good at the trivia. I get 2 games I get cautious playing against you is trivia and chess. But when it comes to like charades, champion right here. No. Nobody's better. Everybody knows. I get the records. Fam, you need to be on your game. You gotta go. Look how my name is spelled, Johnny. Can you go down for a second? Go down. No, the other way. You're going the other way. Yeah. Hi, I am Pasta Jardula, and I will be.
We need a little bit of editing on the Pasta Jardula. Or we should change it to Johnny Pasta, like Jimmy Dore says.
Oh my love.
Pasta Jardula.
Mine says activist co-host. Can you put t-shirt program on there? And I'm going to get a different picture right there. Look at my hair. My Lord. I love it. Look at Johnny's picture. I love
Princess Leia hair.
Johnny looks like Isai Morales in that picture right there from the movie Richie Valens. If you haven't seen that movie, you got to see it. He looks
that's
just
racist.
like him. No, it's not. He looks just like him. Let's get to some foreign policy, fam, because we don't get our foreign policy people that are out there that watch the show. Guys, go over to the ROKFIN, ROKFIN.
Yeah.
So, fam, even though it is just nothing more than a photo op, and we probably know that, and the reason why Trump hired Lord Bolton in the first place was so he could have a change of guard in Venezuela that would be more friendly for us to corporations to go in and take their oil. Yeah. It didn't work out as planned, but it says Donald Trump is very interested in meeting Maduro. Now, let me say this much. We know it's nothing more than a photo op. And I only say this because what's happened in North Korea, he got the photo op.
Yep.
Nothing has changed. The sanctions weren't lifted. We didn't end the war. We didn't stop doing the military drills. We didn't pull our troops out.
Same with
It was
Syria.
nothing more than a photo op, right? Syria, he goes and says, we're pulling our troops out. We're getting out. He doesn't pull our troops out. We're leaving them be. He goes and shifts the troops over to guard the oil while still putting on crippling sanctions. So it was nothing more than a photo op and a soundbite. Donald Trump talked about pulling the troops out of Afghanistan. Remember? Sitting down, talking with the Taliban, pulled out. We're still in Afghanistan. We haven't left yet. They talked about it, but they're really not going to pull out.
Worthy mentioning that he criticized Obama nonstop about Afghanistan.
Yeah, about Iraq, about Afghanistan. And those are the reasons when Donald Trump stood there and said that George Bush lied about the Iraq war and people died about it. It was it was a great moment. I mean, I wasn't a Trump fan, but I was watching that and I was like, why don't we have Democrats doing that?
Yeah.
Where are the Democrats calling them out for what happened in Iraq and that they lied about it? Only like Jimmy Dore and all these other people, you know what I'm saying? Where were they? Okay, but Donald Trump did it, so we thought there would be a chance that maybe our foreign policy would change. Has it changed?
Not at all.
Not really.
No.
Not really.
I mean, it's definitely more dormant than I think if it would have been if Hillary Clinton was president, but it's definitely not anti-interventionist like he claims it is.
And here's something, though, to point out, though. I think that it's kind of important in a way. Because if we went to a Trump rally and you'd say, hey, Donald Trump spoke to a North Korean leader, that's a good thing, and you Democrats over there criticize us for that. I don't know why I did that voice, but they would do that. They're like, say, isn't that a good thing? Yes, that's what we want. So I think there is some positive things about him just taking the photo op that will really kind of seek in some people's mind, because people are crazy about Trump the way they were about Obama. If Donald Trump does it, it's right. It's okay.
Right.
So the fact that he talked to North Korea is all right. It's okay. But the establishment Democrat is what really scares me. Oh, you go talk to a dictator in North Korea. Now you're talking to a dictator in Venezuela, fam.
Right, which is ridiculous because we know, and Joe Biden criticized him as well. And Joe Biden and Donald Trump both are like anti-Maduro. Let's not pretend that Trump and his minions weren't in charge, Bolton particularly, of trying to oust Maduro and putting Guaido. Yeah. I mean, that was a fact. You can't deny that. So it's really funny to see them kind of like contradict themselves.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. We know you are pro-war imperialist, all like the lot of you. You're part of the establishment. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Like,
Johnny,
stop trying to earn points, Biden.
Put up Guaido standing ovation at the State of the Union because I want to show the Democrats that were also in the chambers. Remember, they gave Guaido at the last State of the Union. They gave Guaido a standing
Elizabeth
applause.
Warren.
I was going to get Mako for us, Johnny. I almost threw my phone when I saw that. Look at this.
This country.
They're talking about
we are
Juan
supporting
Guaido.
the hopes of Nicaraguans and Venezuelans to restore democracy. The United States is leading a 59-nation diplomatic coalition against the socialist dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro.
Look at Nancy. Look at Nancy. And see, Pence was a big part of removing this. Pence and friggin' what's up, boy? Rubio.
Maduro is an illegitimate ruler, a tyrant who brutalizes his people. But Maduro's grip on tyranny will be smashed and broken. Here this evening is a very brave man who carries with him the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all Venezuelans. Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido. Mr. President,
look at Nancy.
please
She's
take
gonna
this
first
message
and
back
smile.
here.
Look at all the Democrats. Who's sitting? Is anybody sitting?
Bernie was sitting, I think, and I think AOC was sitting. Was this the one where they were all wearing white, and then he says this is will never be a socialist country?
No, that was the first one.
That was a different
one.
one.
That was the first different State of the Union. But we don't really actually know who was standing and sitting there. You can see Adam Schiff over there standing and clapping. It's, this is disgusting. This is the part, like imperialism and when that we're going to sit there where elections were certified by the Jimmy Carter Institute saying they're some of the best, most real, secure elections
far better
in the
than
fucking world.
ours.
Far better than ours. Sorry for cursing, Mom. Far better than ours.
I'm going to slap you.
I know. I'm sorry. Far better than ours. And we're going to sit there and we're going to say that the rightful leader is Juan Guaido. And Juan Guaido came off as a very weak person again.
Yeah.
Not strong.
The Beto O'Rourke. I agree with that. He's like the little Beto. I agree. He's like the O'Rourke of Venezuela.
Even Roger Waters criticized Bernie Sanders for not being strong enough on this one. Remember that, Johnny, you too, as well? When Roger Waters was so upset. Like, come on, Bernie. You have to be better than that when it came to Venezuela. Everybody was so scared to really go and touch Venezuela. Tulsi did the hands-off Venezuela thing, but she didn't speak strongly about Maduro. She kind of said her piece and was able to exit out the door. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's really spoke strongly about Maduro and how he is the rightful elector, how he came from the Chavistas. And he's not even liked in this country completely, like a big, huge, what's the word? Approval rating. But there's nobody else around who's got a higher approval rating. So the people are ready to stand with Maduro. And once again, it's the regime change playbook.
It's their call. It is not our call. That's the most important thing to get out of all of this.
Remember this one, Johnny? Fund the opposition with tax dollars. 4, act like we care and offer humanitarian aid, which we smuggle in weapons. 5, call for the democratically elected leader to step down. Hey, Maduro, get out of there. 6, install our own puppet, Juan Guaido. Remember, you just wanted to hear me say puppet.
Juan Guaido. Puppet. Hello, puppet.
Mary Puppet. But that's one. We did that video. When was the date of that video, John? Okay, we've been talking about this shit for how long, fam?
We've been talking about it for a while.
Oh my! It's 79 views. That's terrible. Terrible. And I hear other prominent YouTubers use my term regime change playbook. I said those words first.
Fam. I just anything that's related to foreign policy though, YouTube completely blackballs. So I just want to say, if you for a second think that Donald Trump is all of a sudden embracing Maduro, you're wrong. Donald Trump literally tried to crush him, and his administration did. This is just a ploy to get people to vote for Joe Biden, even though they both have the same exact stance on foreign policy. And that's something important to point out, because under Joe Biden, quote, nothing will fundamentally change. His words, not mine. So.
Super chat contribution from Glory Jones. Glory, we love you. We were watching your video yesterday with Tess Muller and Fire Puffball, our boy, when we saw you at the Big Bird, or whatever it was called. It was a great video. So listen, I told Glory and Tess they can come back on the show again and talk about some stuff, fam. Can we give them another shot when this thing clears up?
I just want to say, Glory, Gen Xers were impressed with you guys' knowledge. My friend Melissa, you know Melissa, she was impressed. She was like, wow, how do they know? The girls are so smart.
You know, a lot of Tulsi people were like, when we said what's your biggest criticism of Tulsi, they liked what you had to say, the fact that let's pay more attention to South and Central America, what's going on, regime change there, because right now it's in full effect, right? You know, we have this whole thing going on. We're trying to get rid of the Venezuelan dictator. They failed. The dictator, I should say. The Venezuelan leader, they call him a dictator. It failed. So now we talk about Trump going in. We had the Bolivia situation. And also we're going to talk about what's going on very shortly in Mexico. But Glory Jones for the Super Chat contribution says, but Fee, this petrol engineer, Jose Eichmann Menengo from Miami, told me that he fled the evil Chavez regime, so Venezuela needs more sanctions. You know, we need to sanction them more, fam, so
You're
we can
right.
get them.
I'm sure the oil has nothing to do with it, Glory. You're right. He's right.
Riley Rage gave me a gold star. Thank you so much. And we have 8 viewers over there. Those effects are A1, Johnny, says the people over on the ROKFIN. Paying attention is what Glory said to South, Central America, the Caribbean. There's a lot of shit going on. Now, the Gray Zone just reported something, and I want to also make a comment about this, too, as well, fam, because he says leaked documents reveal right-wing oligarch plot to overthrow Mexico's AMLO. Now, I don't believe it's just right-wing, because we talk about in this article that they use the media. Mm-hmm. So, in this whole conflation about what is really left-wing, the left, the establishment left really isn't the left. They're part of this, too, as well, because there's people on Wall Street, there's people within the media. They want to overturn and get rid of AMLO now, who's a true leftist, a true progressive. They want him out, fam, and they're going to try to do it right now. And it says Mexico's oligarchs and establishment political parties have united in a secret alliance to try to remove the left-wing president, López Obrador, from power. With the help of media, Washington, and Wall Street, leaked documents lay out their devious strategy by Ben Norton. So it's not just the right wing, the mentality of the neocons that want to just get rid of him and soak up all the resources. The media, which is very, I guess it's rooted in the establishment left. That's going to help out as well, fam. So your thoughts on this?
I think this has been ongoing. I have seen some of the propaganda, and I think by right wing they mean anybody that's not left wing, because there's a lot of, like, if you're not, a lot of people, you know, consider themselves left when they're not. They're pretty much Republicans, or pretty much on the right. Mexico is obviously a different country. They have more parties. They have a completely different way of doing things, but it's obviously the establishment has been pushing propaganda, trying to say that AMLO didn't care about coronavirus, trying to say that he was not protecting the people. He's not perfect. We've seen him make, you know, some mistakes when it comes to the foreign policy. He was kind of working with Trump in some aspects, but
most of it he worked against Donald Trump. Like
exactly.
He took in the Bolivian president Evo Morales and half his cabinet. When they said don't do it, he did it anyways. You know, so there's a lot of things that he has done. Fam, can you read this tweet to me, because I don't read as good as Spanish as you. Better than John, but not as. That's not true. John Wayne's better than me. Jesus Ramirez Cuevas. It's inside the article, John. It's the very first tweet in that article.
So the president, AMLO, revealed a document originated from an unknown origin that proposes the confirmation to block opposition to, it's kind of hard to do it live, but that's proposing, that's trying to block opposition to stop the presidency in 2021 And the parties participating are businessmen, media, intellectuals, and journalists.
Gotcha.
So,
sorry to put you on the spot to read that and stuff like that, but I was curious because they said that was one of the first people to break it.
Yeah.
Jesus. So yeah, that's what's going on, and there's a lot of detailed stuff in the article. Yeah. We can sit here
see
and
if you do this to
translate
sure.
tweet right over there. I think it's right there.
Yeah, but it doesn't always do a great job.
I got it here. It says the president released a document that reached the palace whose origin and authenticity we do not know, that proposes the formation of an opposite bloc to snatch the presidency in 2021, in which parties, businessmen, media, intellectuals, journalists participate.
Always media and journalists.
Yeah.
Always
so
media and journalists.
Basically they're saying
Mockingbird, baby.
They're saying that the president is blocking this attempt to smear him and stop him from 2021.
Yeah, and you can see they have all these documents. They got a hold of them, and it's part of the regime change playbook. You know, it's like let's demonize the guy. Let's start uprising with in his own country. Let's use the media to convince people. It's just kind of what we pointed out the other day with Belarus. What do? They get these media companies, and everybody gets in line. It's like they get these documents, they get the playbook, and then they put it into play. And then this happens all the time. Remember, Jimmy Dore used to make that. I want to get on that email list, which tells all the media people what to say in the morning and how to say it. It's like they all get they're all in unison, and they work together by controlling the media, by changing the narrative, and then trying to oust the president for their own corporate needs and own financial needs. It's all about control,
so we
baby.
should just apply for CNN and see how well we
Fam,
recite our lines.
They're not going to let us work at CNN. They're not going to let us work at CNN. 8 viewers on ROKFIN and almost 200 on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe, fam. Also, what do you got Obama and Biden now?
So Obama has,
oh my God,
taken it upon himself to talk about how great George W. Bush was. Even though they disagreed on a lot of things, at least he was a man of law. So let's just hear him prop up Mr. Iraq War warmonger.
Oh my God!
Whose policies he continued,
most
by
importantly,
the way.
The worst president of our times.
Say thank you to everybody who's joined us today, because what that tells me is that you're all feeling a sense of urgency, that the same kind of urgency that I'm feeling right now, that Michelle's feeling, that so many of us feel as we look at the news and we talk to our friends and neighbors and those who are hurting. And I am here to say that help is on the way if we do the work, because there's nobody that I trust more to be able to heal this country and get it back on track than my dear friend Joe Biden.
Oh, God.
I don't think I have to reiterate the situation that we find ourselves in right now. Things were tough in 2008, 2009. We were going through the worst recession since the Great Depression, a massive financial crisis. We were still in the midst of 2 wars. We, I think, were overcoming a decade in which the possibilities of common work and common purpose had been diminished and downgraded, and government had been starved of the resources that were needed to make us a more equal and just and compassionate society. And yet, I have to say that the foundation stones, the institutions that we had in place, were still more or less intact. My predecessor, who I disagreed with on a whole host of issues, still had a basic regard for the rule of law and the importance of our institutions' democracy. On the world stage, there was still a sense that America needed to lead, and that leadership meant that as imperfect as we might be, there were certain ideals and values that we were going to aspire to and advance, and that we cared about human rights, and we cared about battling against the oppression of peoples in distant lands, and that we try to uphold both in our own country but around the world.
Jesus.
I want to make a TikTok out of what Obama just said, because it is absolute gaslighting. And Obama's a great orator, but I saw him struggle here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, at least we have regard for human rights.
Johnny, you got to play.
As he was the Obama in chief.
Human rights.
Bush.
And there's nobody he trusts more than Joe Biden. Johnny, I just plugged in the document a real quick article. I didn't get a chance to. It's right. No, go up a little bit. Right below the Obama. Oh yeah. I really didn't get to dig into this, but more leaks are coming right now.
The Patriot Act, Obama. The Patriot
yeah.
Act. Are you freaking kidding me?
You know, the renewal of the Patriot Act, that son of a bitch. Oh, 100 millions. Ukrainian MP reveals new Biden Poroshenko tapes claim DP's son was paid protection money by Burisma. And more shit's coming out right now. This is the guy you're about to run from. There he is with Pork Chop Poroshenko. A bloody... Listen, here, this was, I guess we didn't pay attention to this. These are a bunch of white people getting killed over there in Ukraine, so nobody gave a shit, right? Because whatever, there's shit going on elsewhere, but this was a bloody fucking regime that this guy gave the thumbs up to her. He was acting on behalf of Obama. They backed up, they backed behind. You're talking about real white supremacist group, fam. Real neo-Nazis. They backed into Ukraine and the Western government. It's disgusting. And more shit's coming up. And you want to talk about like what Obama's just saying around the world? We were playing that video yesterday that we made, right? There's a slave trade going on in Libya.
Bush paid attention to law and order, fam. So I'm sorry. You can't say these things.
My bad.
It's a joke. Obama is a joke. And I hope Gen Z starts realizing that. Glory, we need your help. We need to inform people about Obama.
Glory said she saw it already on Nico's stream, and she was like, ugh.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, it's disgusting too as well. And that's
So
the whole
gross.
thing that really bothered me was the Obama Day thing. Really, people praising Obama,
Yeah.
still my president, all that bullshit. It's like, you don't get it. Well, he's better than Donald Trump. No, you do not get it. If that's
not the
freaking
point.
Now you're just doing the work of
He's
the
better in
establishment.
what way?
Yeah.
He speaks better.
He looks
Obama
nicer.
looks nicer.
He cared. He gave us hope.
He shows that he cares. He's
gave
a
us
fraud. He's a fraud. Jeez.
Okay. Well, the last couple stories we have, fam, as well. Some breaking news.
Uh-huh.
Johnny, do you want to say anything else before we get off Obama and Mr. Joe Biden take money from the Ukraine oligarchs? We have to learn a lot more about this. This is somebody just sent us the other day. What's going on. A lot of people don't know what the next move is, fam, and we're trying to get more educated right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming out of this period where a lot of people didn't have money for rent.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking to have a rent strike of sorts, a general strike. Well, the LA City Council, County Board of Supervisors approves millions in rent relief funds for what's going to go on. So they took money from the CARES Act, okay, to use $100 million to go to tenants and whatnot to try to resolve the situation or put a Band-Aid on it, whatever the case may be. We are working with Elena Pop. We're trying to learn more, understand more of what's going to happen, because the next step is very, very shaky. Some people are thinking about, all right, I'm behind. Let me just get out of Dodge and go try to get out of here. But you can't give up possession of your house or your rental property, because once you give up possession, you give up all your rights. So there's a lot of people trying to work within the system to have collective bargaining agreements, which means they take a group of people, a mass of people, and they go and lobby for them on their account as a group. So therefore, you have much more power. That's what Elena Pop is trying to do. We've had Elena Pop on the show several times. We're going to get more information, but now we see money from the CARES Act. We were expecting to take some of this money, because once again, in the CARES Act and no other act has there been money for renters and rental protection. There's been no rent freeze. There's been no rent forgiveness. There's only been things they kick it down the can to. No matter what, in LA, it looks like we're going to have a year to pay back what's owed. But what's owed, paying it back, will still put people in a ditch.
Right.
Therefore, we have to make sure that some of this money, this $100 million, gets allocated out. But more importantly, we have to make sure that deals are cut on the behalf on renters who have really gotten kicked right in the chin, because there was no help for them, fam. And
No.
trillions to Wall Street, but nothing for the renters.
Right. Though we need to remind everybody that we had a $1,200 payment, and if it wasn't for Congress that, against Mitch McConnell's desires, push $600, people would be getting like $100 in unemployment. I mean, that's disgusting. It's ridiculous.
I would like to also put blame where blame is gone when it came to that money and the extra money. That goes on Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham was the one who was really fighting to get that money. How dare you get all that money? But meanwhile, trillions of dollars have been kicked up to the top. We're going to talk about that with Treasure on Monday. The Convo Couch lawyers coming back on the show to talk about the PPP and where all those trillions of dollars went. Guess where it went to, fam?
Yep.
To the top.
And
they snuck it all by.
And by the way, Gavin Newsom could do something great here. Gavin Newsom has the ability, because I know he wants to be president, to be the hero. I mean, he doesn't have to be genuine, but he has to give the people something. And Californians pay among the highest in rent out of most states. And Californians specifically in the Bay Area and LA area are paying a shit ton of rent. And a lot of people were out of jobs and did not pay rent. So we're going to see the housing market take a dip. We're also going to see a giant tsunami
of evictions,
like Jonny Tsunami,
repossessions, and
so
it's
that's
tough.
still to come, you guys. There's businesses too closing left and right. Even with the initial PPP they had, some businesses didn't get any at all, and they've had to shut down.
Well, we got to keep the eye on Gavin Newsom. He pulls these moves that he may look like a really big progressive, like we're going to end private prisons. Okay, so there's no new contracts. You're not pulling the other contracts. They don't run out until 2028. You'll be out of office. They can change that stuff.
Right.
So what you're trying to do is kind of just, once again, it's a form of virtue signaling.
Yep.
So I'm doing something good. You're really not ending anything just yet, okay? Right. And now also, every single Democrat that gets elected in California is put in to do one thing and one thing only, and that's get us Medicare for all. What is he doing? Not a zip, zilch. We still don't have it. And if he got in and he was really going to do what we thought he would do or hoped he would do, let's get a single payer for the state of California. He's done nothing for it, fam.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are still scared with the medical bills and everything coming up. We're not in the clear at all. So really, to tell you the truth, don't look at Gavin Newsom as some big progressive, because he's not. He's done a lot of virtue signaling, a lot of smoke and mirrors. You know what I'm saying? Was he better than our last governor, Jerry Brown? I think so, whatnot. But once again, he's not the progressive champion that can win this whole thing. And he is also the nephew to Nancy Pelosi. So don't forget about that.
But I think he cares about his image, and I think he's going to try to run for president. So I think there are people there trying to use that to convince him to maybe give us health care, maybe give us banking, public banking. Yeah. Those are certain things
Remember,
that
fam,
are over there.
He slept with his campaign manager's wife. They had that whole affair. So when you do that to your, how can you trust somebody like that ever? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They had that
I
big
don't
little
trust
scandal
him at
like that.
all. But
You know what he cares about? He cares about his hair. Gavin Newsom.
That's
Sorry.
true.
All right.
Why is this thing? Your
Fam, what are
Twitter's
you doing?
weird. Okay, so there is this really weird situation going on in Milwaukee, where
I'm sorry. Did you want to play something, John? No. Okay, go ahead. Milwaukee, fam.
yeah. So there was this weird situation going on in Milwaukee that was brought to my attention. That apparently there was a house that was known to traffic children. It was a house where there was sex trafficking, and there are rumors that the police knew about it and were involved, but they didn't say anything. So people discovered that there were about 7 missing children, and they called the police to go investigate it. And then what happened was that the police took hours, and the people from this area in Milwaukee say the police don't care about them. They're always protecting the houses of the rich people, but the police don't give a crap about them. They took forever to go investigate. And so the people went to the houses directly, started trying to get in there, and then there was a sex offender that lived there, and they found a bloody child shorts, and the guy left and went off, and then they had found the children not in the house but somewhere else. But then the people had gone over there, and so the cops went to face the people to supposedly protect and stop craziness from happening. But then all of a sudden we see, and I don't know who yet, because it wasn't clear from the video. I watched like an hour and a half of this footage that was on Facebook Live, and it wasn't clear who started the fire, but there was a car where they found these shorts was burned, and the house where there was obvious evidence of whatever was going on there was also burned. the police had zero interest in figuring anything out.
I have a phone call today with somebody, an activist, not an activist, but somebody who's into this, who's going to talk a little bit more, has got some information, contacted me. So I have a phone call scheduled today. There are some really creepy, weird things about this whole situation.
Yeah.
About even a suspect that was killed not too long ago that jumped out of a house and the cops fired at him. And like he was almost like committing suicide of sorts.
Yeah.
And in connection to a lot of these pedophilia houses going on, there's a lot of things that have been happening around the nation where they've been, pedophilia and whatnot. Like I said, I have a phone call tonight. I am going to speak to somebody who's very much in tune with this information, and we will get back to you with some more information about this whole situation.
So, fam, what is this Twitter thread here?
Okay, so this Twitter thread is kind of explaining a little bit of this. So
let me read through some of these.
Yeah.
Says people who went inside the cops' child kidnapping / rape house said they found a room with a bed and floor covered in blood. Dang. Here's a quote. It says there are a bunch of missing black kids that the cops don't care about. Some were seen this morning at this house being put into a red minivan, and the house has been suspected as being a sex trafficking operation. Cops searched the house, found nothing. Neighborhood gathered. Someone inside the house shoots at the people. Cops come back, eventually whisk a bunch of people out of the house covered under tarps and shit to hide their identity. Cops intimidate people for a while, then leave. People break into suspected sex trafficking house while cops watch for a bit, then decide to come back, and now we're here. The cops came back and informed the line around the house and brought in an APC. And then you go to this live stream. It works for a little bit.
And then they cut it, right?
That's crazy, nigga. I'm all the way out here. For my brother. Which one? What's out? Reason to yell at them. What are they blocking? What are they blocking? What are they blocking? Go around them. What are they blocking? They're blocking nothing.
So this gentleman is an activist in the community, and he's like a citizen journalist. And he was just basically saying how the cops were not protecting what they should be protecting, and how they took them forever to get there. So people took it upon themselves. So what's been happening in Milwaukee is that they developed their own police. The BLM protesters have their own medics, their own police, and they have been kind of taking matters into their own hands. They have been protesting for 29 days now, and this is some of the interactions that they've had with law enforcement. At some point, law enforcement did fire rubber bullets into the crowd, and it's still not clear how the house got on fire, and there was a car that got on fire. But they do speak about bloody shorts that they found. And yeah, this is very, very, we have a couple pictures, but I think there's a couple of more tweets if you want to read them, fam.
Yeah, if you try to go to the Facebook, see, it says, sorry, this content isn't available right now.
Oh, I saw it earlier. That's weird.
Why are they blocking this?
I should have downloaded it.
Why are they blocking
because
this?
Because once again, it goes to the deepest, darkest people. When your money doesn't mean anything to you, like just think about some of these people, what really gets them going or twisted and stuff. Very easy for me to say and accept the fact that people who have so much power are capable of doing shit like this. They get really weird, and I don't think the elites want people going on the trails and tracking down who's involved with what, because there's very powerful people who watch each other's back and accept money from each other, and they're using kids as currency right now. Yeah, and they've been getting away from it. The reason why I don't follow the Epstein stuff as much, and I've got some information, I'm going to go back into it, is because the fact that nobody gets held accountable, fam. Yeah. And even the cops protect rich people, even if they are using our children as currency. And it just shows you what our country's all about. It's about the elites doing whatever they want to do. At what point do we bring them down?
So some more tweets. It's a legit but well-behaved mob of people going over the site, looking in the trash cans, opening up a van in front of the house and looking through it. This might turn into something. Absolutely surrounding the house and the cops with so many people. So there are two houses involved, one where they were shooting at the crowd gathered, the other house where they moved the kidnapped children who made a break for it, and all the kids have been recovered. What the hell? Somehow the second house caught fire along with a vehicle by cops, probably. Now here's a news stream, but it looks like it was the same stream. I gotta go to this guy's Facebook.
I think they keep putting it up. So the earlier post in this thread about the evidence that was taken, look at that for handwritten notes on the children's names and when they were made to have sex. So apparently there are documents that have notes that they took out of the house before it was burned. Wow. And
They burnt the house?
In one of the live streams, someone on the scene shows papers that were taken from the house, some weird shit there. But she says the name on one of the documents from inside the house is Roderick Bowie. He is a registered sex offender. And so this is the man that's the registered sex offender that was apparently living there. And yeah, so they were apparently covering people under tarps and sneaking them into a van. So that's interesting. This is all really, 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 really strange.
Is this the house he's got up right there?
Yeah, so those are that's pictures of the house. Apparently it's a known house. Like, people know that weird shit goes on there. So
oh my God, like the little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like creepy shit.
Yeah.
It's creepy shit.
So yeah, well, I'm gonna look more into this, and you have a phone call, so we'll keep you guys posted. But so far, there's a lot of unknowns. It's just that the community took it upon themselves to go first because the cops didn't react. I mean, they took hours. They said they said this is a commonplace thing where the cops don't really care about the neighborhood. It's not a rich neighborhood. It's a minority neighborhood.
Yeah, it looks like a poor neighborhood. Yeah.
They're burning the house?
Someone burnt the house.
Someone burnt the house. And that's a lot of evidence.
Exactly.
Too.
I mean, that's why you can't, like, you shouldn't be acting impulsively. Nobody ruined the house. Just demand they get in there. Demand for a independent, autopsy of sorts of people to come in, an independent group to come on in there and look at stuff, so we can hold the police accountable. You know what I'm saying? There should be like, what are they called? PIs, private investigators who have licenses, who are
yeah, you need multiple people here. You need social workers.
Yes.
You need the PIs, and the police are only there to monitor. They are not equipped to deal with that right now. You're talking about child trafficking. You're talking about child rape. You're talking about possible connections to police that some of these people there were saying. I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but that's what some people were saying.
I can remember when the David Koresh story was going on, when the FBI, was the ATF who kind of blew him up and killed all those people and stuff like that. Well, the lawyers of David Koresh wanted the police not to go in. They didn't want the FBI, wanted to seal off the area, and wanted the Texas Rangers to come in and get an independent evaluation of what's going on. We need more stuff like that to happen, where we have an organization that's really not backed by an NGO from George Soros or any of these other pieces of crap or any of these people, that is an independent body that can go in and do these investigations and report to the people what's going on. You know what I'm saying? The cops will be there to monitor them, but they're the ones doing the
community
investigation.
Policing.
Exactly. Something like that, where we can get true answers and clear answers, because you know why? Cops are paid off. The departments, the governors, they're all paid off. Our government is paid off to the top. It's the arm of the oligarchs, the elites. It goes all the way down to our police departments.
And another thing that happened during this live stream that I was watching was that the guy noticed that there was one police officer that all of a sudden, that when they went by the house, they were protecting the house, didn't have a uniform at all, and it just said he was just wearing a vest that said police. And he was like, why does this guy not have any sort of credentials of any kind? And the police took their names off, by the way. They changed their names and put in numbers because they said, oh, cancel culture, we don't want to be identified. So again, we don't know. We don't know who they are. Yeah, like, so now I don't know if you're not. You have a number, but you don't have any identification.
That's terrible.
So he was talking about that too.
The cops are hiding, and it's, some departments might be better than others, but this particular situation, that is not right. Ben Riley asks, Ben Riley, we love you. Hope you got that shirt. News of Robert Fuller. Reading answers, fam. Well, Johnny and Fee did a video on it the other day.
Yeah, you can watch it. It's clipped up.
Yeah, we're trying to find Johnny. Listen, Johnny been going out there. Tina Desiree, Fiorella, they've been going out there, hitting it up, going to the spots, asking for cameras, looking around, doing their own investigations. Why? Because we can't depend upon the sheriffs. We can't depend upon the Palmdale Police Department, whoever's out there. Is there a Palmdale, or is it just all sheriffs?
No, that's the LA
sheriff.
LA sheriffs. Okay, we can't depend upon them. So Johnny had some. He got a footage. He put it up there from a camera on the night. Johnny, you can clip up the video and show that. You can show him one of the videos.
It's on True Rebel Network. If you go to True Rebel Network, it's also clipped up.
The whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
go to True Rebel Network.
Check it out.
Check it out over there.
Got it.
Yeah, it is clipped up on the Convo Couch too.
Absolutely.
Either one.
He went through it yesterday. A lot of people were.
There was a jogger in the background.
Yeah.
There was a car going by at certain times.
There was a jogger. There were several people.
Activities. So, and then his half brother got gunned down by the LA Police Department, right? Was it the sheriff?
That was the LA sheriff.
Okay.
Yeah.
The sheriffs. The Latino man was killed by the LA Police Department.
Yeah.
The sheriffs killed Robert Fuller's half brother,
Mm-hmm.
and we have footage of that. They were going in there like it was like 100 cops or something for one guy.
Yeah.
Terrible. So we got answers for you there, Ben Riley. Thank you so much. Johnny, anything else to close us out with? Oh, wait. We got 3 men indicted in the murder charges of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah, so it was just breaking news today. I'll let Johnny say something.
I mean,
first.
I'm just showing the rest of this thread. This is insane.
Yeah, it gets
this is
dicey. There's a sex offender.
Yeah, it's nuts. Give me back my nudes.
It says police escorting multiple people under tarps into a van.
Mm-hmm.
And they were fleeing from the house?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that the police were helping?
Well, they could be arresting them and just trying to hide their identity is what they're saying.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this is like really...
Oh, there they are. Tarps. That's what I'm saying. They could be protecting people.
Yeah, we don't know.
You know what I'm saying? It's time to listen. Police department, I don't know what the hell
they're
you're doing.
not equipped to deal with that.
It starts the time to realize who you are and what you're doing. I understand people say, "Oh, I'm taking that job because I want to be a civil servant and I want to protect people and be part of the community and all that shit." And you know what? You have to understand what your job is now, who you're working for. If you're a police officer, it goes all the way down. You're protecting the elites.
And by the way, Milwaukee police, of course, just like the LAPD and the New York NYPD, have a history of abuse and have a history of corruption. One of the largest. It's just like Chicago too.
Yeah, it's fucking
Chicago. Those big cities, Chicago, Milwaukee,
y'all
New
Fran
York.
Hampton, I'll never forget
LA.
it. Y'all beat the freaking people at the Democratic primary. Gestapo tactics, they called the Chicago PD. Sorry, fam, for getting all crazy, but
Says property owner is a member of the clergy who works extensively with kids. Pine Ridge Campground board member. Chairman, children. Oh my gosh.
it gets dirty. It gets dirty.
This is...
But I'm
in the house and he ran
Oh,
and they won't let him out in the van.
Oh.
52 and he ran out.
Yeah, this is just crazy, guys.
Yeah. Nobody was really covering this except the citizen journalist that was there. And then there was a reporter that showed up later on, but she didn't really say much about the whole situation.
We got to go to Seattle. We got to go to Wisconsin.
So
we
you're
got to
telling
go
me
to Kentucky. We got to go everywhere.
You're telling me the house and the van got burned?
Yes.
Are you
They just destroyed evidence.
I didn't see. I was watching the whole live stream and I didn't see you because he kept going back and forth talking to different people, and then all of a sudden you see the house on fire. But that little picture right there with the red summarizes the whole thing. If you want to read it real quick, that summarizes everything that happened the best way.
2 black teenage girls went missing on Sunday. No Amber Alert was issued. The police decided they were not endangered and didn't bother looking for them. Last night or early this morning, one of the girls' mom tracked her daughter's phone to a house near 40th and Lloyd. They called the police. They waited hours, but the police never responded to the call. A group of neighbors showed up at the house to knock on the door and look for the girls, and when they did, shots were fired at them from inside. Then the police showed up, arrested the people who were shooting from within the house, but claimed to not see any evidence of the girls there, and left the scene. Neighbors entered the empty house and van parked outside to look for the girls and found bloody shorts, but no evidence of teenage girls apparently. House is connected with a known sex predator, and it was suspected that the girls had been lured or grabbed for sex trafficking. Some hours later, unidentified persons set both the van and the house on fire. A search party of neighbors, not the police, found the 2 missing girls and 2 other missing children around 4 p.m. They were following neighbors' tips from house to house that appeared to be a straight-up sex trafficking ring. They were doing this while dozens of police officers were on scene, doing nothing but harassing and intimidating residents.
Right.
Police on the scene started using tear gas and rubber bullets.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the police weren't really interested in finding the kids or solving anything. They were just there to counteract the protesters and the concerned people of the city that went there to find their own answers, because the police took forever to even get there. So that's what happened. And we don't know who set anything on fire yet.
Well, you know what I'm saying? That could always be That's the sinister part. Like I said,
Yeah.
in a lot of these things, you don't know who's going on. It could be somebody who's like, all right, we have to destroy that place. So burn it up and pretend like you're part of the mob, but you're really working for the guys who want all that evidence to be destroyed. That shit happens all the time. All those cops there, you couldn't stop the place from being burnt down. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think
right?
about that. That's bullshit.
They weren't, that Johnny, in the whole live stream, they weren't by the house really at all.
They were just forming lines.
They were just
How did
forming
they
lines
burn the
against
house down? Bullshit.
They were agitating
police burnt
the
it down.
protesters.
It looks like
The police burnt it down and they blamed it on the fucking protesters. That's what happened.
Exactly.
And then all the evidence is gone. That shit happens all the time. They weren't even close to the house.
If anybody that was there, I mean, you know, come out and say something, because somebody had to say something. But what was happening in the live stream was that the police were confronting the protesters, so people were distracted. And the guy called it. He was like, "Why are you guys? They're distracting you. Why are we over here? Why are you not by the house? What are you doing over here? What's your point?" And you know, that was the whole thing. So, oh yeah, and so finally, Ahmaud Arbery. 3 people were indicted for his murder.
Yep.
Finally, better late than never.
I know.
Just breaking news today. That's
Thank God.
That's what happened.
Thank
So,
God. I mean, though.
3 men. So,
So
there they
stupid.
are. There's 2 of them.
Well, the
I
guy
don't know
driving
whether-
the car around the corner who tried to get away with yeah, you can click that there. You know.
And the third
who was-
one is.
Yeah, he was the
somewhere
one driving
over
the car that filmed the shit.
There we
There he
are.
is. And he had his gun clocked
Travis
too.
McMichael, Greg McMichael. I remember when we covered this.
Yep.
That's father and son there. I don't know which one is the father.
Ex-policeman, right?
Yeah.
I believe Travis is an ex-law enforcement.
Yeah, I believe so. I think Travis was the son, actually.
Okay.
William Roddy, he was the one that drove and took the
Mm-hmm.
video and had his a shotgun ready to go, or his arm, on charges including malice and felony murder and the death of the informant.
Wow.
I want to know, do you guys know if it was 3rd degree, 1st degree?
Don't know.
It's it's likely not first degree.
If they get manslaughter
because
on him,
it's
who cares? If they get manslaughter and these guys do time, that's even
first
better.
degree is you have to prove.
Yeah. That's going to be
intent.
hard to
It's
convict.
very,
in
very hard to
Where is it?
convict.
It's in the South. It's not Florida. Florida's almost impossible. In Florida, they should have got Zimmerman on manslaughter.
Yeah.
They didn't even get him on that. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, they should get him on manslaughter, because then you go in for killing a person. But you know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. If they overreach on purpose, try to get first-degree murder, don't get it, and the guy gets off. That's it.
It's
You know,
hard.
stand your ground. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Protect your neighborhood in Georgia. Who knows what they got over there? But right now, these gentlemen have to go away for, at the very least, manslaughter. I know people want murder. I'll take manslaughter. Just get him behind bars. Get him behind bars. Manslaughter's enough to scare people the shit out of taking the law into your own hands. Especially when you're, a racist. Guy was looking at a construction site of a house. Maybe it was he was jogging, maybe a young kid who says, maybe I want to buy a house one day.
Yeah.
Let me go look. That's when you go look at those things, right? Your family, you go, one day I want to buy a house. Look what they're doing in here. Everybody has interest in that.
It's kind of cool to see how something's being built, too.
It is. And that's all he
You
was
don't think
doing.
it's going to kill you.
The fact that they went after him for that,
Yeah.
like, oh, you're stealing stuff with what?
It felt
was he
like
logging up lumber on
it
his
was
back?
a hunt, fam. It
Yeah.
was a hunt, a
Yep.
straight up hunt.
Yep. Don't come in. It was territorial. Don't come into our neighborhood. Well, now you go to jail for that, son of a bitch.
So, guys.
Johnny, anything else? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So just, keep monitoring these people, even the ones that seem awesome and who just won. Remember, power's in the streets. It's not in the electorate right now. But
we have to transform it over there.
Yeah, we have to.
Take that energy
but
from the
it has
streets
to
and
be
make it work both
demanded.
ways.
It has to be demanded,
Yeah.
right? We're not gonna have a revolution by voting people in a system that doesn't even have fair elections. I mean, I think if we had fair elections, you would have seen a Bernie Sanders president. You would have seen Charles Booker right away have the lead. You would have seen so many things. So I think we have to also fight for election integrity. As a reminder, we're not going to get anything we want if we don't have that. So
Exactly.
Holly Horn said Obama put the people to sleep. Well, if you haven't seen that drawing, the Zago brothers, The Big Sleep, it's so great.
He did. That's why I'm afraid of the next Obama.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm just afraid of people putting so many of these like AOC types on a pedestal. Oh, Queen. Like, stop worshiping these people. They're people. Stop worshiping anybody, period. But especially politicians who are there to serve you. You're not serving them. You're not doing them any favors. They're barely doing their job. Most of them aren't even doing their job. So stop putting them on a
Fiorella.
pedestal.
See, look, Fiorella's there, and The Big Sleep is right behind it. Fam, that's gonna look pretty.
By the way,
in the living room right there, nice big right there for everybody.
we need
to
to continue
true.
the drawing of the Adventures of Fiorella when she gets arrested by the Gestapo police because.
Oh, so you want to get arrested and throw somebody out? Fam, you threw somebody out of a building. You threw a neoliberal scientist
we
out of the
put
building.
Johnny in there too.
The secret neoliberal order. You threw him out of the building, fam.
Fam.
Fiorella.
So funny. I just can't get over how funny that is. I like pink hair. I might just dye my hair pink just for fun.
They made you hit with the moderate serum, fam.
Moderate.
The moderate. You will turn you into a moderate.
Never.
Russia sucks.
That means deep state has got me. If that ever happens, that means I've been threatened.
And you're free to go now. And remember, blue no matter who.
And don't listen to me.
So
just
she
like
let
Bernie
you listen.
said.
How about NPR? You don't say blue no matter who to Fiorella, you get thrown out a window.
Pretty much.
Thrown out a window.
All right,
so that's
fams.
it, my humans. We want to thank you for joining up. Remember, if you can go over to our Patreon at the Convo Couch, we really do appreciate it. Anything you can do any month, $2, $5, $20, $27. Anything helps us out. We want to say thank you to all the people who gave us the Super Chat contributions and all the people.
Always appreciated.
We got one more Super Chat. I love to read the Super Chat contribution. It is always appreciated on the couch. Jason V. The fact that these community police investigated and rescued 14 from human trafficking while the cops did jack shows you
everything,
policing works.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So
the
that's
community.
what defund the police is.
Exactly.
Get
That's
rid
what
of this
defund the
fucking
police is.
Gestapo. How do you say?
Gestapo.
Gestapo tactics.
Police and put in community.
Yeah.
people.
And by the
People
way,
who care.
Can you imagine the police?
the community
remake the police?
Police looks like the community, meaning people are comfortable. There's trust. It's really hard to have trust in a system that has been maligning you and putting you in jail your whole life. So,
thank you, my humans. My name is Pasta Jardula.
Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue on the ones and twos.
Convo out.
We'll do more cooking shows soon, I promise.
You will do a
I
cooking
will.
show.
Well, you'll eat.
Fee doesn't cook. Peace.
But she eats.
She eats.